May 16th Madison County School Board meeting. At this time, the meeting is called to order. Would you, everyone, please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome to tonight's meeting. There's some amendments to the agenda. 2.1 is being changed to 5.10. 2.2, contract with Michael Vincent, is being changed to 5.11 under individual consent. 2.3, IT disaster plan, is being changed to 5.12 under individual consent. So 2.1 goes to 5.10, 2.2 goes to 5.11, 2.3 goes to 5.12. That's the amendment to the agenda.
Are you going to pull 5.5?
And yes, I'm also pulling 5.5, the waypoint expansion. We've yet to receive any information from them concerning it, so I don't feel comfortable going over that tonight. The school board meeting is officially called to order. Welcome to tonight's meeting, May the 16th, 2022. The school board meeting is an advertised meeting held in the public, not a public meeting. We have an established advertised agenda that will be followed. Anyone wishing to address the board may do so during public input section of the meeting. You will have 3 minutes to address the board. The sign-in sheet to speak during public input is on the table to the left as you enter the boardroom. Please sign up if you wish to speak. Our school board minutes are being recorded this evening by Ms. Bishop, confidential secretary and secretary to the superintendent. Board members present include Ms. Williamson, Mr. Carroll, Ms. Bell, and myself. Ms. Gibson is not here tonight due to a family matter. District staff present is the superintendent, Ms. Joseph, and Mr. Reeves, our school board attorney. Okay, at this time, we have the amendments to the agenda. We have also pulled 5.5, the waypoint expansion. There's no public comment unless someone in the public has anything to say. Okay, thank you. Okay. With that being said, we will move to the consent items. Under the consent items, we have 4.1, the minutes of the May 2nd, 2022 school board meeting. 4.2 is the joint use agreement with 4-H. On June the 15th, 2022, the Madison 4-H will be traveling to the University of Florida in Gainesville from 8 to 4 that day. On July the 13th, 2022, the 4-H will also be traveling to the University of Florida in Gainesville from 8 to 4. On July the 13th, 2022, the new rates for the bus will go into effect for that trip compared to the 6/15/22. It's still with the older rates. 4.3 is the mental health application and plan. 4.4 is the American Rescue Plan. Homeless children and youth is for $90,245. And 4.5 is permission to piggyback on Suwannee County's milk bid. Okay, is there a motion to approve the consent items?
I move to approve the consent items.
It's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion? It's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll, seconded by Mr. Williamson. By Mr. Carroll, seconded by Ms. Williamson. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, show a hand for approval. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the consent items. 5.0, individual consideration. We have 5.1 personnel changes. Mr. Killingsworth?
Good evening.
Good evening.
This evening, I have one name that I would like to ask permission that y'all recommend, as well as you'll see the names for either resignation, decline, or retirement at the bottom.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the personnel changes?
I made the motion to approve the personnel changes.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion?
The one that was, the guidance, that was, declined, that was the
Nemo?
one, that was the one you was talking about for the middle school?
Correct. She was coming for the middle school. She was from Valdosta State, had her master's degree. However, she was from Thomasville, and she ended up getting one about 5 minutes down the road from her house. So she took it. Technically, yeah, you can go after her, but with her in Georgia, it ain't gonna do you any good.
Okay.
That's all
I
can say.
thought that was the one you was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, we would have loved to have had her, that was for sure, but
Yeah.
I understand what she's doing. Doesn't make me happy, but we understand it.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Ms. Williamson. Any further discussion? Okay, if there's none, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the personnel changes.
Thank you.
Thank you. 5.2, the truck purchase. It is a 2002 Ford F-250 regular cab, 4x2 XL. It's being paid with capital outlay. The total for the truck is $40,960. $911.60. $40,911.60 for the truck, and it's being paid through capital outlay for maintenance.
Is it 2022?
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's 2022. You said 2002.
I'm sorry, 2022 Ford F-250
And it's paid out of what?
capital outlay. On the invoice, or not the invoice, it has on the, what you have in your, on your station, it has all the features that are on the truck. I'm not going to read it to you all, but it has all the listed features that it has.
Is this like a state pool type thing, or
It
did
comes
they
out of
take?
the state bid, that's why we don't have to, it's already
Okay.
approved, so
I
we don't have
was
to
wondering
bid it
why we
out.
didn't bid yet.
And if you look at the top, it says that it was pricing per Florida Sheriff's Association light vehicle contract. That's the.
Like a state pool thing?
That's a, yes.
So, I mean, we need a new truck.
Yes, we do need a new truck, a new work truck.
We also need some vans to take some kids.
Okay, we can get what we can out of capital outlay,
I know,
okay?
I know. We don't never look at the kids.
They won't let us out cap out.
I know, I understand all that. I understand all that stuff.
Just to remind you, when we did the trim notice and we talked about the tax money, we had to advertise things that we thought we may be using the money for, and vehicles for maintenance, and school buses were in that notice.
Okay, are there any questions, any further questions concerning the truck?
With trucks the way they are, that's a pretty good price for this.
Very good price.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the truck purchase?
I'll make the motion to approve the truck purchase.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Any discussion, further discussion? Okay, if there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the truck purchase, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the truck purchase. Okay, 5.3, the staff travel request. There's two travel requests. The first one is the FAPT 2022 Florida Association for Play Therapy, and that's from June the 2nd through the 3rd, 2022 in Orlando, Florida. It's funding through the CAMHT grant. Total is around $1,800. The individuals going will be Antoinette Sapp, Chantel Ray, Jennifer Ling, and Amanda Walker. And they are therapists within the district, and it's a play therapy conference. Conference number 2 is also the same acronym, the Florida Association for Pupil Transportation, FAPT also. And it is May the 26th through the 30th in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. And the two individuals going will be Travis Jones and Montrell Hawkins from the Transportation Department. So the first conference is a play therapy conference, and the second is transportation conference. Is there a motion to approve the conferences?
I move to approve the staff travel request.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Is there any further discussion? There's no further discussion. It was properly moved by Mr. Carroll, seconded by Ms. Williamson. All those in favor of the travel request, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the travel request. 5.4, the FFA conference. Will be taking place June the 15th through the 16th in Orlando, Florida. It's the Florida FFA State Convention. The chaperones going will be Kaylee Jenkins and Justin Burt, and there will be 16 students going. That is the only student conference we have is the FFA. Is there a motion to approve the travel?
I made the motion to approve the FFA conference.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
By Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? It's been properly moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Mr. Carroll. If there is no discussion, all those in favor, show a hand for the approval of the students attending the conference. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. 5.5 has been pulled. 5.6, permission to advertise the policy revisions. And that was from policy 1420.01, deferred retirement option program administrative. Policy 3420.01, deferred retirement option program instructional. Policy 4420.01, deferred retirement option program support personnel. Policy 1430.03, sick leave administrative. Policy 3430.03, sick leave instructional. Policy 4430.03, sick leave support staff. Policy 1430.06, vacation leave administrative. Policy 3430.06, vacation leave instructional. Policy 4430.06, vacation leave support staff. Does anyone have any questions concerning
May I go over it and let them
Please.
know what we have? Okay, from our discussion last time we had, we decided, you decided you wanted some changes to some of our policies. First, I want to talk about how the policies are constructed. Each policy has 3 different formats. You have one format is for your administration. You have one policy basically says the same thing for your instructional, and you have another one says non-instructional. So you will see basically 3 different formats for each policy. The main policy that we had the discussion on last week was the drop policy. And the way it reads now, okay, right now you have everything in there with the strike-throughs in addition, but if the top part was to remain the same, and halfway down on the benefits sick leave, now it will read, employees entering drop after July 1, 22, or after this is approved. We are not, the word not was inserted because that was not before. Will not be paid terminal pay for accumulated sick leave upon electing to participate in drop. And so what this policy says, you will be paid at your actual termination of employment, as opposed to initially when you go into drop. That's when it was initially, that's what our previous policy says. And that's the big change in here.
So that when they enter drop, they won't get paid.
They won't get paid for sick leave.
Sick leave. Right, okay.
You get paid at the end of your sick leave,
So-
when you get ready to walk out the door.
So the people entering drop and the people that participate in drop and the people who don't participate in drop are gonna get paid sick leave the exact same way when they
leave.
separate from service with the district.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, another change is at the top of the next page. It says sick leave will be earned during drop as prescribed by the Florida statutes. Accumulated sick leave earned during drop participation previously it said will not be paid to employees at the end of drop. But basically what we're saying, what you decided to say is that during drop, you earn your sick leave as you normally do, and you will be paid at the end of time. Any questions or comments about that? Now, what that's going to cause us at the end of drop, you got this big lump sum of money you got to pay out. You need to know how will it affect the system. As opposed to going into drop, when you went into drop, the district had the choice, if it was more than $5,000, to pay it over a prescribed number of years. As now, when you separate from us, we pay you all that you owe. Question, comments? That's what you asked me to do.
What is the max that you can have in sick?
It's no max.
It's no max.
It's a max in vacation time of 240 hours.
But now sick though, you still have the option of paying them out as the lump sum and over a period of, or if it's over 5,000, you still got that option.
But do you want to be paying someone after they've separated from your service?
Maybe rather than having to pay them if you don't have the money.
If we have an employee now getting their sick leave payout and they're not going into drop, are we paying them all at one time or over the 3-year period?
I think the point is if it's over 5,000, you have the option to pay them out
That's what
all
I'm
at one
saying.
time.
Are
or
we
pay it
doing
over
that for the
36.
people that
Yeah, I
are
don't know.
separating, that are not going into drop, that we're paying them their sick leave? Is it, if it's over 5,000, are we doing it 3 years?
There's big payouts, yes, we're paying them over the 3-year period.
So we could do that at drop
The one that we had
too.
last year, we paid it all at once. You have very, very few people in that situation. I mean, you have one every 2 or 3 years.
I think there's about 11 in that situation that are getting paid over the standard 7 years.
She's talking about people that didn't go into drop. Okay, the people that did not, is that your
Yeah, I was
question?
just wondering if the people that didn't go into drop,
You only
they've
have-
separated from employment, and are we paying them overtime? if it's over $5,000?
The one that retired last year, we paid all at one time.
Well, I mean, we have the option.
Right.
You see, that's the key thing, that's the key word, we have the option. I mean, if we got if we financially able, then we could do it. If we're not financially able, then we could say, well, you know, we can pay it over a 3-year period.
You have that option, but you still need to be aware of the fact that you will be handling people funds that's not even associated with your system anymore.
Well,
I just
It is
need you to
what it is.
understand that.
I understand.
I think it depends on like how, if we're in a cash crunch time, I mean, you may want that option to be able to pay out over time. If you were to have someone that has a year's worth of sick leave that you're having to pay out, I don't know how much time some of the people have on the books.
Most people in drop, the people that's not in drop, they have very few, you don't have, I know of one person that's not in drop that has a lot of time, but they're going in drop within the next 2 months.
But I would want the option to be in there for the finance department in case your fund balance is down to a point where it's dangerously down and you're suddenly having to pay out $30,000 worth of sick leave to someone that was unexpected. Over a couple years, it's a little bit easier to handle than all at once. So if that's not in there, it probably needs to be in there for what could come up in the future.
It's in there, I just needed the board members to be aware of that. And so when we come up at the end and we've got people that's been retired, that's still on our payroll, why are they still on our payroll if they're retired?
Well, it would be to having a high amount of time on the books.
And they just hit a button on the computer.
Okay, any other questions about the drop? We have 2 more policies I want to explain what the changes are.
Does anyone else have any questions concerning the drop?
Now, is that what you wanted the policy to say?
I think that's what we
Okay.
said last week.
The policy still says for vacation time. Okay, it's a policy that says the maximum amount you can be paid out was 240 hours.
For vacation.
Okay, if you get paid those 240 hours when you enter drop, at the end of your employment, if you have vacation time, you can only get paid 240, paid out one time because you officially are retiring when you enter drop.
But now you don't have to get paid at that time, do you?
Most people choose to do that
Right.
because that adds to their
I mean, if they
retirement.
choose to do that, yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
that's why they choose, because when you go into drop, you are officially retired, and they want their salary to be at its highest point to help with their retirement check.
I got you.
The Florida retirement system will consider a payout of vacation time in your final compensation for the purposes of setting your benefit. They won't consider a payout of sick
Sick
time
leave.
in your final compensation. So it's to the employee's advantage
Yeah.
to take that vacation time early, but there's no good reason to allow them to take sick time early
Right.
unless y'all just wanted to do that.
Right.
And we did say
No
that
Florida retirement reason.
if you had, say, 150 hours of vacation time and they paid you out the 150 and
Yeah,
you
they
earned
paid
some
you.
more in drop, then you would get those
Yeah, up to
additional
240
days up to the
hours.
240.
The two payments total
Total.
cannot
Less-
exceed 240.
Okay, yep.
And then now you all set the 240 figure, except there was a statute passed, and I'm showing my age, I don't remember if it was 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago at this point, but it capped it at 240. So everybody hired after that statute's capped, whether you want to cap them that way or not.
Okay.
Okay, the next policy that you have presented to you is the sick policy. What was the change on that?
Yeah, to
Okay.
allow the part after 5,000.
Okay, yes, that was on the bottom of the second page. The board may, this is what y'all were just talking about. The board may at its discretion to follow these conditions when the total permanent pay exceeds $5,000. They can either, one, pay out the entire lump sum amount, two, prorate the entire amount over a period of months not to exceed 36 months, or to allow the employee to select an alternate payment method based on board approval. And so that's what y'all were just talking about. At the end of retirement, you can do one of these three things.
Hadn't we been doing that though for a sec?
The deal is, it did not get put in all three of the
Policies.
policies.
Okay, I got you.
We was cleaning up some policies. It was in one policy, but not the other two.
I got you.
And on the third policy, vacation time, this is also cleaning up. It was on the first page. The last sentence in section capital A, it says unused vacation leave may be accrued, however, it may not, but not more than 240. It said hours, days. You got to make a choice. Okay, and it's hours. We made the choice. We just cleaned this up.
Yep, good deal. That's what we said we want.
Okay. Okay, and she was cleaning it up. So those are the basic three policies we're presenting to you for advertisement.
Does anyone have any questions concerning them? Policies? There are no questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the policies for advertising?
I move to approve the policies for advertising.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll to advertise the policies. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion? Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll, seconded by Ms. Williamson, to advertise the policies. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval to advertise the policies. 5.7, the financial report for the month of April. Ms. Rainick?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. It's good to be back. Flying high in high altitude was not good for my blood pressure. As we look at the financial report today, it does include up to May the 10th. So you're going to see some things in there. You're going to see it looks a little bit different. It looks kind of inflated because there was an FEFP payment that comes around the 8th of the month that came in that would normally be reported in May. But with the holiday coming and everything, I thought you wanted to get it as close as it should be right now. So if you look at the general fund, you're going to see that we have received about $17.4 million to date, which is about 86% of the revenues that we anticipate. And you're also going to see that we have spent to date, to the May 10th date, 16.2 million. So it's about 81%, which left us a little bit over the $1 million difference there, which is going to raise our fund balance up to around 9% this time. But be aware that we have just ratified the union contract, and so those salary increases will all come out of either the May payroll or the June payroll. So you're going to see those things coming out. You're also going to see, I was excited to see that the Survey 3 brought us up from 2366 FTE to 2380 until I started analyzing it and saw that most of those FTE are FTE earned by the charter schools. So the money will come in, but it will flow back out, go right back out. And we just, this morning, maybe 11 o'clock today?
No, it was 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
At 2 o'clock today, we finally got the Department of Education's approval to move forward with the teacher salary increase allocation. So that money will be coming in probably in the next payment of FEFP but it will also turn around and about 80,000 of that will roll back out to the charter schools. So some of these things are for recurring salaries that we incurred last year, and some are for, not very much, is for the new part of the salary. So we're still projecting, and we do have a little bit of cleanup to do on the budget. We've got a couple of lines that are over budget, and we've got to add more budget to them from the fund balance to make it balanced. So we do have that coming, but you do see that you still have about $2.5 million that's encumbered in the general fund right now. So you have to plan for that. And of course, the big elephant in the room of the $15 an hour, we have to plan for that as well. So moving to the debt service, which are bonds and things like that, it's pretty flat. We have 86.5% that has come in already. We're doing okay, remembering that we're still building up dollars in there to pay off the $1 million debt that comes due in 2027. Going to, if I'm going too fast, just slow me down. Going to the Fund 3000, that's your capital outlay fund. That's where your truck is going to come from. And we've been able to conserve some dollars here because we've been able to push some of the dollars for the air conditioning over to ESSER because that's allowable. So that's allowed us to have a few more dollars. We do have our 3 new buses now, but we still have 3 more, is that correct? 3 more that we're ordering that the board
Yes.
approved. So that'll be probably another $350,000 that's going out. And Mr. Carroll, you asked about vans. We are asking about vans, and it seems like there's a shortage all the way around on things like that. So, in fact, the buses are about 6 to 10 months out. So we've got some things planned with that money, but that project, that fund is looking pretty good right now. Food service. Food service is not looking too shabby. They're doing pretty good. They got $1 million in revenue so far, and they've had $1.1 million going out. They're still getting a little more going out than coming in, but they do have some funds in transit, so it's looking like they're probably going to build their fund balance up a little bit before the end of the year. They still have about $155,000, $156,000 that's encumbered there as well. Going to the federal projects, the 4200s. These are the projects that are entitlements that come to us. Most of them are entitlements that come to us every year that are generated from the department, most of them title grants. We've taken in 56% of the dollars and we've billed out 49%. We do have some money in transit for billing because we can't build the money out, and we can't draw the money down until we spend it. We have 3 days to draw it down after that. So that money is, or that project is doing pretty good. We have talked with the federal people about those. There are some projects that they need to start making sure that they're spending those projects because we don't want to turn back the money. If the money's not spent, it either rolls forward or it goes back. So we're looking at all of those federal projects to maximize those dollars. Now, the 3 groups of ESSER dollars. First group, 441 and 442, those are your CARES dollars, first round of ESSER. Okay, those are almost completely used up. We've got 89% of the money in, 91% of the money out in most of those projects. The department has asked us for a report that shows where we are with all of the smaller CARES grants. They call them gear monies. So we have turned that in, and we're looking pretty good on that. We did get notice, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go to 442. Those are the smaller gear grant. That's what the department asked us to report on. Right now, some of those projects still have a good amount of money in those. We've only received 33%, but we spent out 33%, so it's a drawdown on that as well. And the one big project still remaining is the gear project. And one thing you do have to note in here, the department on the one that says CVPRG, COVID prevention, the department issued us $64,000 after we spent probably about 2 months in the project, the department canceled that. So we got to spend $5,288 of the $64,000. So that's really not revenue. That's one of the things we have to clean up. We have to bring the revenue back to 5,288 instead of 64,000. There's also, and I'll talk about that in a minute, the 443s and the 444s. That's the second round of ESSER that came, ESSER 2, and it was known as the CRRSA, the Coronavirus Response Relief Supplemental Act. That's where your ESSER 2 advance money, your academic money, your non-enrollment, your technology, and your lump sum. These projects here, we have gotten 68% of them. We did get notice from the department that there are 2 of those projects, the academic and the non-enrollment, that as soon as the legislature signs off, the money is going to be stopped, like the prevention grant. And whatever we have spent to date will become our allocation, and whatever has not been spent will go back to the department. And then the department will reissue those dollars in another allocation to all districts for a summer program. So we're looking at those 2 very closely to make sure we maximize those dollars before they're pulled back, so that we can use them on how they were planned. 68% money has been received, 70% and we still has been spent, and we still have some money in transit there. On the 444s, that's the smaller part of the ESSER 2. We have not put the dollars we put the budget there, but we have not put the dollars in or used them yet, because those projects, the department asked us to write them in December of 2021 to just say, yes, we wanted them, and we have until next month to get the budget in. So we don't know how they're going to be spending those dollars. We're working with federal folks to figure out how we're going to use those dollars. You have a preliminary idea from the federal folks, but we have not put any expenses against them yet, because we want to make sure we get an approved budget first. And the last 2 are the 445, the new America Rescue Plan, the new ARP, the big part of it that was divided into 2 pieces, the major part and then the learning loss part. We are expecting there to be some changes in those. We have not added those budgets in. We are trying to finalize those budgets with the department right now. We do have some amendments that are pending, and we want to make sure we get them in right the first time. So those budgets will come in. The ESSER 3 and learning loss together, the whole project is around $10 million. About, I want to say 30% of that, 28% is going to the charter schools. It's going to come to us in big lumps. That's where a lot of our air conditioning is going to come from. A lot of the extra paras to support the instruction, a lot of those kinds of things are coming from the ESSER 3 grants. And then there are some smaller pieces of ESSER 3, which is the last page. And those projects are mostly IDEA for the ESE people, and the children for the ESE. And those projects are underway. They're just starting. So they're for pre-K and for K-12 tutoring. So we're working on getting those in place as well. Haven't had a lot of activity there because they just started. Questions?
I spent 3 hours and 58 minutes listening to the state board thing yesterday.
I'm sorry.
And Madison County was on there for, it must have been what you was talking, they was talking about teacher pay.
Mm-hmm.
So
We have not approved it.
yeah, there was 2 counties now there were 7 counties that hadn't turned in anything, but.
We were one of the ones that had not been approved. We
Right,
were not there.
we had turned in the stuff, but
The-
according to that, but that's what that was, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right after the meeting we had on the 18th, when the decision was made by the board,
Right.
we submitted information to the department at that point in time, and they wanted to make sure that it got ratified, so they told us to stop until it got ratified. It was ratified by the department, or by the union this week? Is it this week?
Last Wednesday of last week.
Last week. The day it was ratified, I sent it back to the department and said, okay, now we're ratified. And so just today, at about 2 o'clock, we got notice that they found us compliant, and they said we can go ahead and they'll send the payment to us.
Okay.
But you're right, there are other counties that still are in that position because of different types of impasse that they're going through.
They was, I just wouldn't want to be on that list and have to stand before them cats.
The superintendent didn't want
The last meeting, I
to
was
either.
summoned to go to the state board, and I got canceled the day before, okay?
I wouldn't want to stand up there before them, boy.
So this meeting, are we gonna be paying
were
our
gonna send you
teachers those raises they thought they weren't gonna get?
All of the dollars that they were going to receive in the teacher salary increase, which is around $560 apiece for the 80% of the teachers, plus whatever they earned in performance pay, the difference in performance pay, that money and whatever we had to pay out in steps and longevity, all of those dollars are going to be paid out now to the employees on a retroactive basis, going back to the first of the year. So my department, Miss Betsy, is struggling to get all of those little details put into the payroll because she's got to go back almost a whole year to plug out everything in. But we're hoping to get that out to them by the end, for the May payroll, but if not, by the June payroll for sure.
Ms. Rainier, it really goes back to July 1 because we do have a couple of teachers that gets paid starting July 1. And so they will get their back pay.
Yes, they'll get their back pay. They'll get any supplement they were earned or their step that they would have earned. Yes, that all come out. That's what we talked about earlier in the general fund, around $200-some thousand that will all come out, which will, again, dip into this. It'll look like it, but that's going to be okay because we're sitting okay with the 9% right now.
I got you.
But I think the teachers are happy.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the financial report?
I move to approve the financial report.
Thank you.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Any discussion? If there is no discussion, all those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, 5.8, contract with MCEA, instructional collective bargaining agreement and the non-instructional collective bargaining agreement.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I'm gonna let Mr. Killerworth and Ms. Rainier want to talk about, we finally got the contracts approved, and now by the union, ratified by the union, we need it approved by the board. Anything you want to talk about, highlights of the contract?
Florida statute says that we have to ratify it after they ratify it. So we're following through with statute. We haven't made any changes. They all agreed. The vote was pretty
unanimous.
like 100 and some yes and just a few no's on the ratification.
It was 86 yes on the non-instructional, 1 no. Instructional is the same, 104 yes, with no no's, so.
It was pretty accepted.
And this is a 3-year contract, so we'll go through 2024.
We are starting meetings again with the bargaining unit next week to go over things, to work on negotiating things like compression and the next year's salary, those kinds of things. So we are starting those conversations as soon as next week.
Okay, is there a motion to approve or to ratify the 2021 through 2024 instructional and non-instructional collective bargaining agreement with the Madison County Educational Association?
I'll make the motion to ratify the contract.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any discussion? There is no discussion. It's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Mr. Carroll. All those in favor of ratifying the instructional and non-instructional collective bargaining agreement with the Madison County Educational Association, please show a hand. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. Okay, 4.9, permission to advertise for an accounts payable clerk. Mr. Killingsworth?
Yes, sir, as y'all can look back on the recommendation sheet, the last one on there for, that I said that was under resignation, declines, or retirement, of course, was our accounts payable person, which will be retiring 6/30/22. And what I'm asking is that we can go ahead and start advertising to fill that spot so that we can work to get a transition between now and then, so that when 7/1 rolls around, we won't have all the bumps knocked out, but we'll have a good amount of them. A little better transition, hopefully.
So the new person could probably be there, what, 4 or 5 weeks with Ms.
Yes.
Sapp before she goes?
Yes, ma'am. That's what we tried with the other as well.
Is there any discussion or a motion or?
I move we go ahead and advertise for the position, accounts payable.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson. Any discussion? If there's no discussion, it's been properly moved by Mr. Carroll, seconded by Ms. Williamson. All those in favor of the accounts payable clerk, raise a hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval.
Thank you.
Permission to advertise. 5.10, the Boys and Girls Club Summer Operational Agreement.
Okay, Mr. Chair, the Boys and Girls Club usually provide enrichment activities on our campus. What we're asking, they're going to be operating at one site this summer. In your original proposal, they had requested to use Madison County Central School, but we're going to be doing a lot of cleaning, renovation, updating, and you got a lot of outsiders, and we do not need the workers around the kids, so they're asking to use Central, they're asking to use Greenville Elementary School for their summer program, and their days will be the same as summer school days. Their hours will be longer, but we will not have to provide transportation or food for them. They will be located at Greenville Elementary School this summer. And that's totally funded by Boys and Girls Club.
Were we planning on doing anything in Greenville this summer and painting or?
Nothing special, just intensive cleaning. But summer school will be located at Madison County High School, and we just do not have the makeup to have Boys and Girls Club at the high school.
Is there a motion to approve Boys and Girls Club at Greenville?
I made the motion to approve the Boys and Girls Club Summer Operation Agreement.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
A second.
By Mr. Carroll. Any discussion? There's no discussion. It's been moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Mr. Carroll. All those in favor, show a hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. 5.11, contract with Michael Vinson from Hamilton to provide support in finance.
Ms. Raynette, you want to pipe in on that?
Well, as much as I would like to say that my learning curve is maxed out and I've learned every single thing I need to do, there are still some things that the certified public accountant can show me and help me with on these two major reports, the program cost report and the AFR, preparing for the trim this year. So I'm asking that he be able to support me. Like, for example, his plans, if you approve this, his plans are to come this Saturday I'll work with him Saturday, maybe Sunday. So he'll be working with me mostly on weekends so that we can pull reports, get changes made, make sure budgets are correct, make sure the auditors are happy with what we've turned in, and be able to assist me in that way. It would be from now until probably September when we start getting all these budgets back to you for approval. I can't anticipate how many days, but at least 2-3 days a month working with me.
Any questions?
Has he been helping you?
Pardon me?
Has he already been helping you?
Yeah.
He had?
Not this year, last year he helped.
Yeah, last year, I mean,
Last year,
yeah.
Yes.
Was that the dude that came and,
That's it.
oh, okay.
He did the lion's share of the reporting last year.
Right.
Because I was brand spanking new.
And he served as interim during a time when we didn't have anyone,
Yes, yes.
so.
And he's very aware of our projects and everything. I may lose him some of the time I have because he has taken a new position in Gilchrist County.
Wow.
So, I'm gonna try and get all the things I can learn from him this time before he fades out on me.
Okay, is there a motion?
I
Make a
move
motion to
Go ahead, Sherette, go ahead.
Make the motion to approve the contract with Michael Vincent.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? If there is none, all those in favor, show of hand, please, for the approval of the contract. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval. 5.12, IT disaster plan is our plan for IT. Mr. Goyette?
Hello. Yeah, this is the IT department's disaster recovery plan for if we lose all IT services due to natural disaster, viruses, any other type of event that would take down what we define in here as our most critical system. So this just outlines some procedures and kind of ways that we would run payroll, do finance operations and student operations in those events.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if there's no questions, is there a motion to approve the plan?
I made the motion to approve the IT disaster plan.
It's been properly moved by Ms. Bell. Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Williamson. Any discussion? I think this plan is one that the auditor requires, so this is one we
Yes.
have to have, so.
Yeah.
So it's been properly moved by Ms. Bell, seconded by Ms. Williamson. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for approval of the plan. Thank you.
Thank
you. Yes.
That's one thing we can check off for
Thank
the
you.
Auditor General.
One thing we won't be reading up on.
One of many, many.
Okay, that concludes the items for individual consideration. The next item, 6.1, Superintendent Items.
Okay, Mr. Chair, a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. The first thing, I did not put it on there, and the normal thing, fundraisers, they're supposed to be presented to the board. And so the cheerleaders at the high school is doing a Krispy Kreme donut, band, Claus Johnson meet, and raffle from May 16th to the July 31st. And this is to pay for FCA cheer summer camp and uniforms. So the high school cheerleaders will be selling and selling and selling. Please support your cheerleaders. Okay, a couple other things. All of us are aware that Mr. Frank Gareth, a longtime principal and educator in our system, passed away. Okay, the foundation, local foundation, will be starting a scholarship in memory of him for his many years of service to Madison County as an educator. A couple other things I want to discuss with you. Sometime earlier this year, I brought to you a plan for us to help acquire substitutes because we were having trouble getting substitutes, and we formed a relationship with Kelly Services. But since then, minimum wage has increased to $15 per hour. And all of us know there's no free lunch in this world. There's no free lunch. So yes, Kelly Services was provide a service for us, but at a cost. Okay, and right now I'm asking you, I want to sever that relationship with Kelly Services because we will be paying a minimum of $15 an hour, and if we tack on their service fee, it's gonna put us out of range. And with us paying $15 an hour, I think we will be more attractive. That's a more attractive fee to get people in to assist us. So our contract with Kelly Services says we need a 30-day written notice. And so for the next school year, I do not want to use Kelly Services.
That's about how much they was paying anyway, the 15, close to 15. So,
No, the people were only, it was costing us about $16 per person per hour with Kelly.
So
And so
do you,
basically, we're gonna be paying what it was costing us.
do you need a motion, do we need to act on you sending the letter for the 30-day termination?
Yes, that's a board contract, so y'all would have to direct superintendent to send the letter
So
terminating.
we gotta amend the agenda.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Okay, do you have anything else to amend the agenda?
That's it, but that's the only thing I need to amend the agenda on.
Okay, at this time, I will amend the agenda to include item 5.13, and that would be a termination letter of contract with Kelly Services, effective for the 2022
23 school year.
23 school year. Okay, so is there a motion to cancel the contract with Kelly Services?
I'll make the motion to cancel the contract.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Is there any discussion?
I mean, we gonna be able to get substitutes? I mean, were they affected?
They were able, they never did have 100% staffing, okay? So we do, that was one of the reasons we weren't getting substitute because we were paying $10 an hour, okay, and offering no benefits. Now our wages are competitive with the pot plant, with Nestle's and McDonald's. Before, we were not competitive with them.
Gotcha.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson, seconded by Ms. Bell. All those in favor, show of hand, please. 4-0, Ms. Bishop, for canceling of the Kelly Services for the 2022-23 school year.
Okay, a couple of other reminders. They had Beta Club induction tonight at 6:30. We can't be at two places at one time. Take Stock in Children's celebration is Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. I've asked all the principals to send you emails and remind you of the different activities at their schools. And I hope they're doing it.
Take Stock is Wednesday at what time?
6 o'clock, that's gonna be at the high school.
Are we invited to that?
I don't know. Yes, you can go. You may attend. I just saw it, Miss,
I mean, we've never been invited before to it. I was just wondering.
I will check your email tomorrow, okay? Check
Okay.
your email tomorrow. Okay, and I'm trying something different this year. We've had a long year, and I appreciate all the work that all the employees have done. And therefore, this year, as opposed to having a beginning of the school cookout, you know, we have the countywide at the beginning of the year, we're having a cookout at the end of the year on the 26th.
Good.
From 2 o'clock, starting at 12 o'clock, from 12 to 2 o'clock. Even though we said cookout, we look for the outside, it's gonna be hot, so I'm not gonna put anybody in that misery. It's gonna be at the cafeteria at the central school. So we will have a cookout for all employees that day, and that's being sponsored by one of our vendors.
I have a question concerning Mr. Galbraith's scholarship.
Yes.
If we can make a donation to the foundation, is that who it's under?
Yes, it's through the foundation.
Okay.
And I know most of you have contributed to the senior walk. They're still accepting donations. You may give your check or cash to Ms. Bishop or Ms. Ritchie. It's a lot going on, but we're gonna make it happen, okay? And we're gonna make it happen with a smile.
Okay. Mr. Reeves, do you have anything
No, sir. Not
that you'd
unless your
like
questions
to?
are me.
No, sir. Ms. Williamson?
I just want to thank everybody, the teachers, the instructional staff, and support staff, administrators, everybody for this year. I mean, the first year back from a full year from COVID without all those COVID restrictions, it's been hard to get back in the groove, and I appreciate all the hard work and the extra that everybody's done. The teacher shortage, everybody helping cover that and stuff, and I really appreciate it.
Okay. Mr. Carroll?
Just, I've just got a couple calls about from veteran teachers saying there's gonna be a mass exodus of employees from our school system. I'm just, I don't know why they call me, because, I can't do nothing about it, nothing. But anyway, I hope that's not true. I hope that we don't have one. I do know that it was eye-opening listening to that state board meeting that they had last Thursday. It was. It's really eye-opening about how short-staffed the entire state is.
Statewide thing.
It's unbelievable. And, when you think our system is looks like it's going downhill, but from listening to all that, boy, there's a bunch of them worse off than we are, so.
Well, Mr. Carroll, I know, I've heard it several times that we are the lowest paid. We pay our teachers the lowest salary in the state. We are not the lowest paid, and I will have you actual documentation at next meeting, okay? But we are not the lowest paid district in the state.
Well, I know we're not,
near the bottom
but I
now.
know, I know we're gonna work hard to make sure our teachers receive what we can give them.
We are giving them all that we can and still maintain the system, because we do not want the state to come in and take us over.
Boy. Yeah, I listened to some of that in that meeting too. Oh, my goodness.
And they will.
I know they will.
We've seen it.
They're waiting in the sidelines, waiting for us to go broke so they can come in and take us over.
Yeah.
But we're giving them all we can.
Yeah. But anyway, all the kids are excited. It's the end of the year. It's
I'm excited at the end of the year.
I'm excited for them. So, I want to congratulate all the ones that's going to graduate, and that's in a day or two. Good luck. Now the real world starts for you. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Bell?
I want to send my condolences out to the family of Mr. Galbraith. I want to congratulate all of the seniors that will be graduating on May the 27th, and all of the students that will be graduating to the next grade. I want to say thank you to all of our staff for all their hard work and dedication, to all of our students. I want to say enjoy y'all summer, and we will see y'all back here in August.
Okay, I would like to congratulate the baseball and softball team and their playing and making it as far as they could, and the track team that did real well in the district and states playoffs. I also want to congratulate our local students who participated in the Becky's Dance Steps recital was recently, and I think it was her 45th recital, and that's a long time to be doing something for the students of Madison County, and we do have a lot of students who participate, so hats off to them. I want to remember Mr. Galbraith for his longtime service to the school district as an administrator. I had the chance of working under Mr. Galbraith at the primary school and at Central School. He was a principal at the primary school and assisted out at Central, and he was a nice fellow and a good administrator, and we were lucky to have him for all those years, and to serve so many years as a principal of one school, which in today's time is pretty much unheard of. Back in those days, he was at the primary school for many, many years, and again, condolences to his family. I enjoyed Friday night on the 13th, the high school band concert out at the high school. They did a great job. I'd like to congratulate all the graduates from Madison County High School and James Madison who will be graduating. Wishing all the students a good summer break. And Ms. Joseph, I think it's a good idea. I too am very appreciative of all the teachers of what they've done, and I too have heard them saying about, or people saying about the mass exodus. And again, I feel bad that we had to do what we had to do, but at this time, I feel that's the only option we had. And some of the spins that people are putting that we do nothing for the employees, and that's not the case. And back, someone had, I don't know if it was the finance department or who, had the printout of what the benefits we have for instructional versus non-instructional, and that is eye-opening. I mean, that's eye-opening to see. I mean, we're probably the only job in town that funds 100% of insurance for an employee, single coverage. I don't know if there maybe is another business who does it, but a business of our size. So that is, I mean, it's not like we're not doing anything, and I think that when people start complaining, they're not telling both sides of the story, and I don't know. And again, I'm not saying that the teachers don't deserve what they get, they do. I wish we could pay them more, but we have to operate. And we have to be solvent to where we're not going bankrupt. And that's the thing too, that we have to, the fine line we have to walk. But if we do have, in some way, I've seen it, I have it somewhere in one of my books, a list of the benefits for.
I will get that to y'all again.
And again, I just think it's something that's important for people to realize. Maybe the employees don't realize what we contribute to. I mean, I know that probably your new employees probably wouldn't have an idea of it.
Probably not, but we did share that list with the bargaining unit, and we did post it. And they posted it on their side too, so there's several lists, like the teachers, the custodians, the food service. And there are a lot of benefits that are maybe not seen, but they should be realized because it comes along with service to the district. We just have to maintain financial solvency that's sustainable. We are watching some of our sister districts that are jumping off and doing major leaps, but they need to make sure that when this federal money dries up, they're going to be sustainable leaps.
And again, this district, to my knowledge, has not received an infusion of millions of dollars from the state to add to a salary schedule. I mean, we haven't, and that's the thing to realize. I mean, there are some districts around who may be offering more, but again, after so many years, unless you have continuation of that money, what's going to be done? I mean, where are you going to come up with the money? And that's the thing that I think is maybe hard for people in the public to realize that, well, this district's doing this, why can't you do it? And again, I wish that maybe even on our website as a way to show, and under the benefits section for employees of like benefits we provide, where it's posted where everybody can see what what we offer, because that is, I mean, I think that's a lot.
We can post it on the finance website.
I mean, I think that, again, just me being a board member and looking through it, it does open your eyes to, that we are providing a lot of money we're paying out for different things that I don't know that people, certainly not on the street and certainly not even our employees, may not realize.
And there was another increase this coming year that's gonna be coming, retirement. The worker themselves does not see that, but we see it financially. That costs us that much more to have that employee, and they don't see, hey, they're paying that much more toward
And
my
unless,
retirement.
and unless we have employees who have worked in the private sector, and I don't want to harp private sector versus institutional sector like this, but in the private sector, you're responsible for your own retirement. Very few like companies pay like how we do in the FRS. Very few. If you have one in the private sector, then it's probably a really great place you're working. But I mean, we pay 100% of the FRS. That's unheard of in the private sector. In the private sector where I've worked, if you're contributing in that type of retirement, then you're paying yourself. I mean, you're paying it yourself. It's not in addition to your salary. It's coming out of your salary. So that's
It's gonna go up from around 10.9
Yep.
to around 12 or 13%.
that is going up, and
Yes.
I suspect Ms. Gibson had said at the last meeting
Yes,
that
she-
our FISBIT property casualty is going up, and I'm
Yes.
sure that, you hate to say it, and I haven't heard it, but I'm sure our medical insurance is going up to, I mean, I'm sure it's not going down.
We're not gonna mention that.
So again, when you look at that,
Yes.
it's things going up from food is going up, the price of food, diesel, gas. I mean, again, if that all affects us operating our day-to-day operations here at the school.
And we're trying not to pass those costs on to the employees.
Right. I mean, again, I hated to do it, and as long as I'm a board member, the money we're able to give, I'm all for giving. I'm all for giving. No one up here wants to sit on money, but again, we need to be financially responsible and not wind up in a state to where we're having to lay people off and we can't keep the doors open. Because the one thing you do need, and we learned this back a few years ago, to have a school is money. That is the one thing you do need. You need money to have school. If not, then you have a big problem.
Yep.
A big problem. And again, I just want to wish all the students a great summer and to continue to practice reading and math, because you don't want the summer slide. And again, I'm glad we've made it through FSA, and hopefully those results will be coming in and we'll be happy when that comes in. But again, I wish everyone a good summer break and summer vacation. And that's all. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, it's been properly moved by Ms. Williamson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Carroll. All those in favor? Show of hand, please.
Let's vote on this.
4-0 for
Thank you.
adjournment.
You don't like no.